This show is brought to you by the Genesis Communications Network, a world leader in talk radio since 1998. Visit GCNLive.com today.
The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering on acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. The Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
The Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's June 25th, Saturday, June 25th, and thanks so much for joining us here on Wall Street Raw. So many other choices for all of you guys on a Saturday morning, so obviously I appreciate you deciding to tune in and listen to our rants and raves regarding what's going on Wall Street and in the financial world. Certainly it was a very tumultuous week, and we'll touch on that in just a moment. This program is archived at GCNLive.com, also on iTunes. If you do miss any programs, please go there. We don't take calls on the program, at least for now, but if you have any questions, you can certainly email me at the following email address, mark.vrtrader@gmail.com, or go to our website, which is vrtrader.com, or WallStreetRaw.com. Goes to the same place, and you can learn more about what I do. Speaking of that, you guys may recognize me, particularly some of the older listeners, when I served as an elf on the old Wall Street Week television program with Louis Rukeyser, and or perhaps you saw me for many years with Paul Kangas on PBS's Nightly Business Report. Many years involved. And before that, trader on the Chicago Board Options Exchange, market maker in the options pit. Also served as director of research of a couple brokerage firms. So, covered the gamut on Wall Street, do my newsletter, technical analyst, looking at the cycles of the market, looking at contrary opinion in particular. What particularly disturbs me, and I'm sure you've heard it before in this program, is my concern what's going on with the American journalism. I do have a journalism degree, believe it or not, way back. And I keep ranting and raving how we're on the verge of collapse. Apparently ideology has permeated hard news coverage. We don't have the reporters out there serving their role in the fourth estate, questioning and challenging. Rather, they're like lapdogs, just panting and doing whatever the U.S. administration wants them to do, the Obama administration in particular. And they're not challenging authority, not challenging economic numbers, they're not challenging political decisions. And this is disastrous for our country and also for Wall Street, in particular when we look at the Federal Reserve. And we're not challenging what these guys are doing. 1 week they're looking to raise rates. Next week they're talking about lowering rates or doing nothing. They flooded the world with trillions of dollars of phony money, and it just way out of control. I had an interview that I'm going to be doing with a professor at the University of Minnesota. We'll probably do this next week, talking about the Federal Reserve in more detail. But in particular, we have an agency which is a federally chartered corporation which runs independently, does what it wants to do. When Bloomberg sued them in 2008 or 9 under the Freedom of Information Act. We found out they were giving money to private companies like Harley Davidson and General Electric and sending billions and billions of dollars offshore with no congressional approval, no challenge from the financial press or the press at all. Meanwhile, if you recall at that time, we were fighting over a $34 billion General Motors bailout. Incredible. So a lot to do there. So on Thursday, the UK voters shocked the world as the United Kingdom chose to leave a flawed and failing European Union. And I'm hearing this morning now that Scotland wants to ignore the vote and join the EU. Even the City of London is saying, oh, we want to ignore the vote. A lot of secession-type talk. We're going to see this in the United States, too, probably after the November election here. Or whoever wins, you're going to see the same kind of discussion that, oh, we don't go with the majority and we're just going to secede and do what we want to do. And meanwhile, it was a terrific move. It was a brave stand, I feel, for freedom and independence. As you know, it's been dubbed the Brexit in the media. So these voters really stood up for their nation. They put the United Kingdom first, and they took their country back. Okay, my hope is that we're going to do this exact same thing here on Election Day in 2016 in the U.S., and hopefully that decision will be for Donald Trump. He's been fighting to upend the failed big government status quo here in Washington. For those of you who saw me at the World Outlook Conference, not many of you I'm sure, but in Vancouver in January, I was predicting a Trump victory for the Republican nomination and eventually the presidential as well. And I saw that in terms of the technical numbers, my own intuition about what's happening, and the concern that we have here in America regarding what's really going on. And another factor to consider is the pollsters. I mean, look what the pollsters did in UK this past week. They were totally upside down. And the problem is, I don't believe the polls. I don't believe the economic numbers. Many of these may be contrived by the media, which works against the common view, and we saw that many times already during this past presidential primaries here in the U.S. We saw it again in London and in UK this past week. So basically, they're misleading us. You have to ignore the polls. You have to ignore the economic numbers that you hear, particularly unemployment numbers. You really have to ignore what you hear in the press, because the press is biased and it's not objective, and it has its own goals. It has its own goal and direction. It's looking to support the current administration. It's looking for socialism. It's looking for communism in the U.S. These are the people that you have to be aware of. They're out there. We need big change here. So we're looking to upend all this with a big failed government, and hopefully it happens here this year. And I think it's going to make a big change for Wall Street. I think if you see Donald Trump come in, you're going to see a huge rally in the stock market, and you're going to see a real change here in this country, and I'm really looking for that. I think a Trump victory will send another shockwave around the world as patriots reclaim freedom from the corrupt, and I underscore corrupt, Washington establishment. This morning you're hearing Obama on his radio broadcast talking about LGBT. Can you believe this? Why is he talking about LGBT? Because he got slapped in the face in Europe with the election, for example. He was campaigning for David Cameron, if you recall, recently, trying to keep the UK in the economic union, keep the status quo. And it was a slap in the face to him, and David Cameron, as you know, is resigning now. My question is, why isn't Obama resigning? He should have resigned a long time ago, and if not, we should have impeached him. We haven't done that. And this is all far in function of the press in this country, which supports him when the majority of people, I believe, are really not supportive of him. So very important. I know we're mixing Wall Street with politics, but it's all one and the same, and it's all mixed in with regard with the reporting and what you're hearing and what the futures economically and politically is going to be here. So I'd like to address that right at the outset. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that with SINCLAIR No and our other guests this morning. Speaking of that, we have SINCLAIR and my good friend Henry Weingarten joining us again this week. So stay tuned to Wall Street Raw.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and negative articles can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? ReputationDefender.com can help protect your good name. Get a free consultation now. Call 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from ReputationDefender.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com today.
There's nothing more enticing and intoxicating than the finest meat cooking on an open flame. Freeze-dried meat from NewHarvest.com is U.S. grown, 100% all natural with no extra fillers. Just grass-fed beef and free-range chicken guaranteed to stay fresh and delicious. Add New Harvest freeze-dried meats to your current food storage. You'll buy direct from the factory, not a third party, ensuring the best price and the highest quality. See all our products at NewHarvestFoods.com. That's NewHarvestFoods.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you have the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you, too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Think big. Think positive. Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw Radio Show with Mark Leibovit, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Welcome back, my good friend Sinclair No, financial commentator, 1510 KFNN Phoenix, and author of the blog, my favorite blog, eatthebankers.com. No shortage of conversation this Saturday morning, Sinclair, with what happened on Friday with the exit of Britain from the EU. Unbelievable volatility, and if you read any of my commentary, as you know, I've been a bit bearish, so this might have been the trigger that set the market down for the summer that we were waiting for.
Well, you and George Soros may have been a bit bearish, but I think most of the rest of the financial markets were thinking that the Remain camp would win, and we saw equities moving higher over the week heading into the vote. We saw the British pound moving higher, and I think, for that matter, the odds makers, the betting parlors over in the UK, were betting that Remain would win. We had a lot of losers in the marketplace this weekend.
The contrarian viewpoint was it was going to be a bull trap, even if they did approve it. My thought was, they'd rally a bit more, and that still would be a sale. But in any event, that's what's happened now. The markets are coming down decisively. Gold really took off here, and it's been a great week for those who played the bear side. But common sense, sell may go away, Sinclair. Maybe that's all you needed to know, right?
maybe you can just keep it real simple and stick to old adages that tend to work out for one reason or another. But, this was really an interesting session that we saw on Friday as the Stock 600 and the Stock 600 Banks Index just getting clobbered. The Banks Index down almost 15%. The Stocks Euro 600 down 7%. That was the worst day since October 2008, and we all remember the Lehman Brothers crisis back then. We haven't seen that kind of liquidity freeze up, in part because there was some planning probably going on that this would be a big event. It turned out to be a pretty big event, though.
So we saw the British Prime Minister resign, and I'm wondering, will Obama do the same thing?
No. No.
Oh, darn.
But David Cameron is going to resign, and he'll be out around October. You're going to have to wait until January until Mr. Obama leaves his post. But Cameron is leaving, and then the question is who's going to replace him. A lot of people are saying Boris Johnson. Some people are saying Nigel Farage. Some people are saying that we could see the entire UK start to break apart. You've got Scotland, which has already gone through a referendum on breaking apart from the UK. Scotland was heavily in favor of remaining in the EU. So now you've got this break there, and of course, then the question is, will it spread to the rest of the European Union? Could we see Italy, Greece, Spain, Portugal, the Netherlands decide that they want out of the EU as well?
What's real interesting happening in trading here into the end of the week is we saw a strong dollar. At the same time, gold took off as well, which those who like to address inverse relationships in markets, which I'm sort of against. You always have to look at markets individually, but are a little frustrated, I suppose, today with both markets moving.
A lot of strange things happening in these markets right now. There's no question about it. But this goes back to the old idea of gold as a safe haven play. Even if there is a strong dollar, there can be a need for a safe haven play in someone's portfolio. And, of course, gold is still a global marketplace, even if it is traded in dollars. And the global side of the safe haven play overweighed any strength in the dollar, I believe. We did see that safe haven play also play out over in the Treasury markets, though, where the 10-year U.S. Treasury yield dropped down to right at 1.4%, as I recall. That was just a huge, huge drop. Of course, it bounced up a little bit from there. But now there's talk about, well, what's the Federal Reserve going to do? And some folks are saying they might cut.
Negative interest rates?
How's that for a turnaround? The question before was, when are they going to raise rates? Now they're saying, may they cut?
But how far can they cut, though? Unless we're going to go like Europe does into the negative territory, which I feel, and perhaps you feel, at some point still could happen.
Well, and Janet Yellen talked about that this past week in her testimony up on Capitol Hill, the old Humphrey Hawkins testimony, what we used to call it anyway, semi-annual testimony before the House and Senate. She does not want to go to negative interest rates. That's pretty clear. She's not totally sure she has the authority to do it, but thinks she probably does. And I'm sure they would do it if they felt it was absolutely imperative to do so. But this changes the whole equation now. It's not just a matter of will the Fed raise rates at some point. Rate hike for this year is completely off the table now, completely gone.
I wonder who has been predicting that no rate hikes for a long time. Some guy I know out there runs a radio show. I don't think there's any basis for rates to go up at all. Look at as you said, what the bond market is doing and what's going on around the world. But Sinclair, do you have time for another segment? Stay with us a little bit this morning.
Oh, I think we probably have a few more things we could talk about.
I think so. We're talking to my good friend Sinclair No from KFNN 1510 Phoenix and author of EatTheBankers.com, and he'll join us here on our next segment. Stay tuned. Sinclair's going to take a little bit of a break, but one of the things that I thought was the canary in the coal mine here for what happened this past week, and as those of you who listen to my broadcast or read my newsletter, I've been on the bear side. I called for this entire rally to be a bull trap that you saw in the stock market, and that you should be a short seller out of the market. As we mentioned in the interview just a moment ago, the sell may go away, but basically we're setting up for much lower prices. But one of the canary in the coal mine events was the strength in Bitcoin. We touched on that a little bit last week. Bitcoin took off. It's been all over the place. It was $1,200 down to $200, got back to about $775. So money started to flow out of the markets into alternate investments, and I'm a big proponent of that. Into gold, into Bitcoin, into physical real estate plays out of the equity market, because there is danger there. When I say danger, we could be back to the February or August lows, which is 1,800 in the S&P. We're sitting around 2025 now, and potential could be a lot lower than that. Stay tuned. We'll be back with Sinclair after the break.
Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market crash, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of the Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free weekly Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free Gold News Raw report. You will receive both weekly, and both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
Think about this. Your community's aging water infrastructure systems are very likely to be contaminated with heavy metals like lead, disinfection chemicals like ammonia, chlorine and chloramines, and pharmaceuticals like statins, pain meds, and antidepressants. And no, water treatment plants are not equipped to filter these pharmaceutical toxins out. Protect your family's water supply with the trusted Big Berkey water filter. New NSF EPA-certified lab tests show Big Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria, and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market, the gold standard in water purification, and our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey water filters, for the love of clean water.
Today, how to incorporate your business in just 10 minutes so you won't lose everything if you get sued. Step 1, stop putting it off. If you're not incorporated and someone sues your business tomorrow, it's not just your business at risk. You can lose everything: your home, your car, even your life savings. Step 2, call the following number for a free 10-minute incorporation guide from Incorporate.com. 1-800-941-5257. They don't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating quick and easy. So you can incorporate or form an LLC in just 10 minutes. That number again is 1-800-941-5257. Step 3, congratulate yourself. By taking just 10 minutes to incorporate your business or form an LLC, you protected your home, your car, and your life savings. And that is how you incorporate your business in just 10 minutes. But hurry while they're still giving away these 10-minute incorporation guides for free. Call 1-800-941-5257. That's 1-800-941-5257.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Anything that is thy neighbor.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com.
Back, my good friend Sinclair No, author of EatTheBankers.com and financial commentator KFNN Phoenix. Well, again, we're picking up from one of the most dramatic weeks in market history with Britain leaving the EU, and unfortunately for many, the belief that that was not going to happen, and bets were placed on the long side by just too many in the financial press, and commentary was just so skewed that way. We were talking in the previous interview about David Cameron and what happened over there, but if you recall, our good friend President Obama was actually out there campaigning in support that Britain would stay in the EU. So this is not only a slap in the face for David Cameron, but it's also for our president.
Yeah, I think so. It certainly didn't help the Remain cause in any way, shape, or form. But then you also had hundreds of economists saying you need to remain, and the voters did not buy that line of reasoning. In fact, they just really seem to be saying anybody associated with finance and economics and politics and central banking, basically the elite power structure, it was a vote against the elite power structure that is involved in running the European Union and, for that matter, the UK, and to a lesser extent, but some extent, the U.S.
Right, and that's, I think, what's really happening, the reflection of dissatisfaction on the part of voters, and one of the reasons that Donald Trump has gained so much momentum here and could likely win the presidency. And the other key point here is that you can't believe the polls. The polls seem to be consistently wrong, if not manipulated. It's just amazing. They were so convinced that the polls were correct, and we've seen them wrong in this country as well.
It'll be interesting to see if that changes any of the polling in this country, because, yes, they were so off over in the UK, and they've had some problems with their polls over in the UK. But what shocked me was that the betting parlors were so off. Usually the bookies get it right.
Well, maybe they have to go to Vegas. Maybe they're built better over there than they are in the UK. But
this is such an interesting thing, because we really don't know what will happen next. And I've talked with some people over in the UK leading up to and following the vote. And yes, we know that it's going to take some time. It'll take a couple of years for the actual exit from the EU. Yes, we know there's going to be a vote for a new prime minister in about the next 3 months, around October. We know some of what's going to happen, but this is the first time that any state has left the European Union. So we really are in some uncharted territory here. And even though we got through the first day of trading on Friday, it doesn't mean that we have gone through the worst of what is going to happen as a result of this vote. It's going to make for some tough times for the UK economy. The UK is essential to the European Union, has been anyway. And you have to imagine that if the UK economy suffers greatly, it would affect Europe as well as the United States to some extent. Exactly how far it goes, exactly how much damage is done to banks, and whether any of them ever start to freeze up and we start to see liquidity problems, I don't know. But there's still a lot of shaky things going on right now.
Yeah, I read an article this morning about who is going to be affected negatively by the event, and one name that came up was a big name, Goldman Sachs, that apparently does a lot of business there.
Sure, and Goldman Sachs was one of the big decliners on Friday in the Dow Industrials. In fact, there were only a couple that didn't have big down days on Friday. But then you look at some of the European banks, oh my goodness, across the board, Spain, Santander, 20% drop. Barclays was down almost 18%. BCS, almost 20%. HSBA, the German banks, Deutsche and Commerzbank, down 14%, give or take, on the session. Those are huge drops for financial institutions of that size. That's something you don't just overlook. If they don't start to show recovery, if this goes on for another week or two, remember back Lehman as well. Lehman was a little bit of a delayed reaction in the marketplaces.
Right.
We're not out of the woods yet.
Well, we're looking at a Dow trading in the 17,500 area thereabouts, and there's no reason why we couldn't see this 1,000, 2,000 points lower, particularly if those financials underperform.
Well, we went back up near the highs. We didn't break through those highs. That's a failed attempt and then failure in a big fashion. So I think there was a lot of technical damage done.
One of the other interesting stories this past week was the Elon Musk story about Tesla buying out Solar City, and this attracted a lot of attention. I thought it was very interesting. Many of the analysts seem to feel that Solar City is in big trouble financially and could go to zero, according to some analysts. And meanwhile, many have been skeptical about Tesla all along, but it seems like Elon Musk seems to pull rabbits out of the hat and has been really the Edison of our time. What's your feeling about the Tesla Solar City deal?
Well, Solar City has some huge debt problems. Elon Musk owns both Tesla and Solar City, a little over 20% in each company. He has a leadership role in each company, CEO and chairman. His cousin, I believe it is the CEO of Solar City. There's some real questions about conflict of interest in this deal, and they've recused themselves from shareholder votes on it, so it may not happen. And there are going to be a lot of lawsuits on this, but it's an intriguing idea. You capture solar power with the panels on your home. You have the batteries built by Tesla for storage of that energy. You then use it to run your building or to power your car, and you've got direct generation going on. You're moving away from the grid. It's clean energy. You know, a lot of folks have shorted Tesla, and it may be a good short. It may be a good long. I'm not commenting on that, but I will say whether Musk succeeds magnificently or fails magnificently, it's just one of those things. I can't take my eyes off it. He's doing something intriguing all the time.
Right. SpaceX is another one. Sinclair, thank you for joining us again on the Saturday morning. Sinclair No, financial commentator, 1510 Phoenix, KFNN, and author of the blog, EatTheBankers.com. Interesting week, Sinclair. We're going to have a lot to talk about next week. Take care.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you again, Sinclair. And, don't touch your dial. We have my good friend Henry Weingarten coming back with us here on segment 4 in just a few minutes. We had him on last week, and as you know, I've been a bit bearish on the markets, and he was, and he approaches it from the astrological point of view. And a lot of my good friends on Wall Street do this, the Arch Crawfords of the world, the Ray Merrimans of the world, the Henry Weingartens, and you don't get a lot of press coverage now as much as you had in the past. But these are basically cyclical studies, repetitive patterns in the market, and I talk about this a lot in my newsletter. We talked about, for example, the summer solstice a week ago, and often you see changes of direction in the market around these events. So you look at technical analysis, my volume reversal, you look at contrary opinion, you look at cycle studies, all very important. So stay tuned. We'll be back after the break.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week Elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market tsunami, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free Vice News Raw report. You will receive it weekly, and it is totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw report at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com for your free weekly report from Mark Leibovit and WallStreetRaw.com.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IBC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body Brain and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
As a doctor, I see patients every day who are losing their vision to age-related macular degeneration, also known as AMD. If you have blurry vision or blind spots, they can be symptoms of AMD, and if untreated, could lead to blindness. The good news, AMD can be managed with effective clinically approved treatments that may reverse some vision loss. For free AMD information, contact the Foundation Fighting Blindness at 1-800-BLINDNESS. That's 1-800-BLINDNESS. There is a cure in sight.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovit. Now, here's the elf himself.
Welcome back, my good friend and special guest, Henry Weingarten from the Astrologers Fund. Henry had a spectacular call in the markets this past week. Like myself, he's been a bit bearish on the markets, but he uses financial astrology to help fine-tune things. In fact, he's a managing director of the Astrologers Fund for 28 years and a practicing astrologer for over 40 years. In addition to using fundamental and technical analysis, he employs that astrology as a primary tool to oversee investment funds and advise institutional investors and money managers worldwide. So it's a real honor having Henry back on the show. Henry, it was a wild week. Last week you had talked about shorting the market as the Dow approached 18,000 and buying gold if it moved back down into the 1260s, 70s, which was a bullseye call.
Yeah, we're both myself and George Soros are happy at the moment, although George is not happy because of the Brexit part, whereas I'm happy all across the board. Markets were about to drop, Brexit or no. I mean, I'm a sell in May guy, so we hit that 18,000 Dow level several times. So, in fact, you even got the opportunity to do it on Thursday, to hit it again. As for gold, it's in a positive astrological phase as well as fundamental as well as technical. On Friday, we broke through the 1300 level. In fact, we came close to fair value, which is 1370. I think we went to about 1363. So we're actually doing this call on Friday. So the markets haven't closed, but there's some key pivotal levels to look at. First is gold, 13 to 1325. If we're above 1325, we're certainly bullish all the way to 1375 in any case. And if it's, we do think it's going to hold 1300 support now through the summer, but it could be tested. On the market, the Dow is 17,625 as a pivot. We went as low as about 1,700, almost below 17.2. But we had thought we'd see 17,000 before 18,000. They got to about 18,012. So we have to see a break of 17,000. So regardless of Brexit, which actually I think is very good news, and actually makes Britain very positive. The pound basically belongs around 140, so it's basically trading in a good spot for it. But we think the markets will be down through the summer. You can take a vacation if you want, if you don't want to trade. It's definitely overvalued. Brexit is an excuse for the big boys to sell, but it's good because the peasants revolted. And I think it's a good result, and I think we're going to have the same result here. And as my wife said, if you look at probably the next the Chancellor, not the Chancellor, but who's the head guy in Britain? It's not the
Prime Minister. Prime Minister.
Prime Minister. And if you look at the next Prime Minister, he looks just like our next president.
Okay. And you feel that's going to be Donald Trump, I assume?
Well, who do you think that be? Well, I don't think... he looks like Hillary, so I guess it has to be Donald Trump.
Well,
just based on looks alone.
Just on looks alone. Okay. I know you've been a big Trump supporter and called at the beginning of the year for potential Trump victory, not only at the primaries, but into the election as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he has a great horoscope next year. It's super positive. And I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but he's got Jupiter all over his horoscope in 2017. And that, to me, it could be a number of things. The most likely thing, of course, he's president. The second most likely thing is he loses and gets the contract to build the wall, but I don't think that's going to be the case. So,
beyond the sell may go away, looking into the fall, do you see the advent of a bear market, or is the end of the year buying opportunity?
Well, first of all, bullish. So as soon as people realize Donald's going to win, markets rally back up. So the question is, when are they going to do that? And I don't know when the first debate is. Do you know when the first debate's going to be? That's when the undecided decide.
I have no idea. I'll have to check that out for you, Henry.
But basically, anyway, astrologically, there's some more negativity, if you like it, or more, if you like, recession nonsense. The funny thing is, we're leaving the recession as people think we're going into it, because as you well know, and your readers know, listeners know, that basically most of the statistics are so doctored, so you have to look at things on a longer-term basis. So basically, there's a time frame in the fall, September, October, that's another down time. That really is actually the end of the downtime, but it would be, a wonderful opportunity to buy. So once we get down there, I'd love to see it personally test below 16,000 or the 15,500. But anyway, I think a good test of 16,000 is a place to start buying if you have the opportunity. No rush, and then we'll go back up.
So if the market bottoms in the fall, does that mean gold's going to top out?
I think gold's going to... Well, that depends on your view of the world. Do you think that the world's going to be a wonderfully safe and serene place in 2017 without any shocks?
I don't think so.
However, we are thinking of selling or shorting when gold gets to 1470 to 1500. We just recalculated that it's worth, I think, about 1375 this quarter from 1370. So when it's undervalued, which it is now, we're buyers. Once you hit value, that doesn't mean as a value player you sell. I'm a cosmic value person. So once you start getting overvalued, which is roughly around the 1450 to 1500 level, I want to basically be far reduced or out and start exiting. But I don't think there's any reason. I mean, remember the thing. Gold jewelry is going to do very well next year. Do you know why?
Why?
Let's assume we have President Trump, correct?
Okay.
You know how he handles gold everywhere in his bathrooms and everywhere else, faucets? Okay. So people are going to emulate him. They're going to start buying gold jewelry to be... Forget this nonsense about the hats. To make America great hats, you're going to have gold jewelry. Now, I hope he doesn't do it as an emperor the same way they did it, in Rome with his picture on it, but you never know. Maybe they'll make it for campaign donations.
Henry, you're always fabulous. I really enjoy the comments, including your recommendation earlier in the year to buy cement stocks based on the building of the wall, which really turned out to be a positive play, too. We're talking to Henry Weingarten from the Astrologers Fund. To reach Henry, the best address is www.afund.com, correct?
That's correct. You got it.
www.afund.com to reach Henry Weingarten. And thank you, Henry, for joining us on this Saturday morning, and we hope to have you back real soon. And again, congratulations on a terrific market call.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you. Yes, Henry, it's always a pleasure having you on the program. And we have to respect the cyclical forecasts. These are very important. We can't always believe the fundamentals when we listen to major financial commentary. It's always based on balance sheets or economic data. There are greater forces that are work out there, and this is what we have to respect. I did a little homework on the dates. Henry had asked about the presidential debate, so during the break I looked them up. September 26th is the first presidential debate, and then followed by October 9th and October 19th. So these are sort of critical dates for Henry here in terms of, I guess, cementing public opinion one way or another. So the first date would be September 26th. Wild state of the stock market, and I'm going to stick with my forecast that we've been talking about here for weeks and weeks and weeks. So look for further downside. If we get a little rally on Monday, that would be a shorting opportunity, in my opinion, for the markets. Maybe some of the talk about Scotland going its own way, or the City of London going its own way, maybe create some type of buying interest in the market, but I think it would only be temporary. I agree with Henry. Gold is still a very strong play here. Bonds should remain positive, and the question is how bad things will get to the downside. But we do have the plunge protection team out there, a working group of financial markets signed into law by Ronald Reagan in 1988, and they can be out there trying to support the markets. And generally when we hit a low in the fall, which Henry was talking about and cycles talk about, you could hit a bit of a bottom. So we'll see if it's tied to just normal cyclical events, or indeed we get a Trump victory at that time. Should be a lot of volatility and a lot of trading opportunities in the market. And as my old friend Ed Hart used to say on the Financial News Network many, many years ago, we will know in the fullness of time. Thank you for joining us on Wall Street Raw.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Alpha, Mark Leibovit. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to WallStreetRawRadio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market crash, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of the Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free weekly Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free Gold News Raw report. You will receive both weekly, and both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.